You know, I'm not gonna even sit here and lie to you, man. It was an honest mistake, and
It's not a mistake. Saleshi?
Thank you, Your Honor. I couldn't disagree more.
Right away, the defendant calls it an honest mistake, but the prosecution shuts that down instantly for prior OVI convictions, prison time, and still the same behavior. In legal terms, this isn't a mistake. It's a pattern. And patterns are exactly what judges look at when deciding how dangerous someone really is.
With the defendant's characterization that this was an honest mistake, he has the four prior OVI convictions and served 3 prior prison terms. One of those was in connection with the prior felony OVI. And despite that repeated intervention, the defendant has continued to engage in the same exact behavior, which is drinking and driving. What makes this offense especially more troubling is that the defendant drove through a construction zone, almost striking the workers. The defendant does not appear to show any genuine remorse for that or fully understand or appreciate that he could seriously have injured or killed someone that day. And he should be acutely aware of that possibility, since he had, in this prior case, pled to an aggravated vehicular assault in connection with the felony OVI. What's equally concerning is his refusal to acknowledge that he has a drinking problem. He also violated the conditions of bond in this case by continuing to drink and drive without a license. And whether or not the defendant knew that he had the BMV suspension, it was a condition of bond from this court for him not to drive. So without an acknowledgement that he has a problem, I think the likelihood of any meaningful rehabilitation is low. So this court is left with an offender who continues to endanger the public and shows no genuine remorse or insight into his behavior. The state is asking for 3 years prison, and there's the mandatory driver's license suspension and fine. Thank you.
I didn't hear you, sir.
What do you want to tell me before I sentence you?
I want to tell you that, first, I want to apologize to my family and to the courts. Secondly, I just want to let you know that I promise to God that it was just an honest mistake. I had just overcome drinking. I had just started back drinking. Well, I had drink after my dad died, but I didn't say I just started back drinking. That's when I came off maybe like a 6 year since I've been home from jail. That was like my first time drinking. But when I started drinking, it made me think more and more about my dad's death, so I really didn't like it. So we was out and
185th, and you were going eastbound on Route 2. What happened?
it was a construction truck out there, and I actually pulled over to the side because I was behind the truck. And when I put this truck stopped and put his hazard lights on.
See the police car with the lights on?
No, the police car didn't have no lights on. So after the truck had his hazard lights on and it stopped, I had to back up to go around the truck. And as I was backing up to go around the truck, the officer pulled me over. And he sued my insurance company, and they came after me.
Okay,
so I got vehicular assault.
You got aggravated vehicular assault, right?
Yes.
And a DUI, right?
Yes.
And a drug possession, right?
Yes.
And a tampering with evidence. And now here we are in 25 with you being drunk as a skunk, going through a construction, closed lane in a construction site. Why? Why are you doing the same thing over and over again? How did you get to the party?
I drove there.
Okay. So did you drink them shots by mistake?
No, sir.
Okay, so it wasn't a mistake. It was a decision.
It was a dumb decision. You're right. Absolutely right, sir.
Right. And somebody with your experience.
This is a turning point. The judge forces a simple distinction: mistake versus decision. Drinking, getting behind the wheel, driving through a construction zone. None of that is accidental. Once the defendant admits it was a dumb decision, the entire defense of honest mistake collapses. That one moment, it just sealed his fate.
With 4 prior OVIs, 10 prior driving under suspensions, had no business doing what you were doing. It wasn't a mistake. February 3rd, you pick up you're driving again. Why were you driving in February?
Sir, I was driving to we was taking my stepson to a doctor's appointment, and my girl, she can see, she got like the astigmatism in her eye, and I was driving, and sir, honest to God, true, I didn't think that my license would be
Was suspended immediately. So you don't seem to pay too much attention to all this stuff.
I do, sir. I'm sorry.
You don't. If you did, you wouldn't be sitting here for the 5th time. Now, despite all that, you don't seem to think you have a problem. Why is that?
I feel that like I can stop whenever I feel I can go cold turkey.
Then why didn't you?
I did, Your Honor, but
Well, you didn't because you drove through the construction zone and almost hit a couple people, so you didn't.
well, like I say, I had a stint of a stop.
This stuff goes back, these OVIs go back to 09. 09, 10, 14, 15, 25, and you don't have a problem.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, you do have a problem. You don't, well, you don't have any insight. That's what you don't have. Because you got a big problem. If you didn't have a problem, you wouldn't be sitting here for the 5th time. You got a big problem.
Absolutely right.
What?
I said you're absolutely right, sir.
Okay. Why did you tell me you didn't have a problem? Why did you tell the probation officer who interviewed you that you didn't have a problem?
No, I told her, what I was meaning to her was telling her I did have a problem. Stop drinking. I didn't mean it like, that's like in trying to insult you. I would never try to insult you. I was telling her like, I don't have a problem with
What did he tell you?
Huh?
Your Honor, I asked him if he thought he presently had a problem with alcohol. He stated no. I asked him if he ever thought he had a problem with alcohol, and he stated no.
Anything else you want to tell me?
No, sir, what I meant by that is I don't have a problem with stopping.
Well, if you don't have a problem with stopping, then why didn't you stop?
That's an answer.
Huh?
That's an answer I can't answer.
Well, I mean, the correct answer is you have a problem and you can't stop.
Yes, sir.
Indicates a drug abuse conviction in 07, another one in 08, a felony drug possession in 08, a felony drug possession in 10, another one in 10, felony, another felony drug possession in 11, for which you were placed on probation. That was your 4th felony drug possession. You were put on probation. Actually, the 2nd and 3rd one, you went to prison. For about 5 months, 6 months. 4th one, you're put on probation in 11, which was about 8 months after you got out of prison. Violated probation 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, went to prison in 15 for 2 months on that. Get out. May 31st of 15. Get this aggravated vehicular assault, OVI, felony. August of 17, go to prison for short of 3 years. 3 years, 36 months. And here we are again. As I said, 4 prior OVIs, 10 prior driving under suspension, 0 insight into the fact that you have a serious drug and alcohol problem because you keep getting convictions for drugs and getting convictions related to alcohol, yet you don't have a problem. If you don't have a problem, if that's true, then the only reason you're drinking is because you don't want to stop.
Yes, sir.
Otherwise, you would stop, based on what you're telling me. So,
And here's the brutal logic from the bench. If you can stop, but don't, then you're choosing this behavior. That tells the court one thing: rehabilitation hasn't worked. So the focus shifts to punishment and public safety. 4 years in prison, lifetime license suspension. This isn't just a sentence. It's the system saying, enough is enough.
you need a lot of help that you refuse to get because you don't think you need it. That's the quandary you're in.
I do, sir.
Then you should get it. Okay? Of course, you want it both ways. You don't have a problem. You can stop any time, but you do have a problem. So you are not amenable to community control. So I'm going to sentence you to 48 months in prison with credit for 88 days. And we'll impose a fine of $5,000. I'm going to suspend your driver's license for life. And when you get out of prison, you may be on post-release control for up to 2 years under the parole authority. They will place conditions on you. If you violate the conditions, the parole authority could return you to prison for up to 9 months for each violation, up to 1/2 of my sentence. If that violation is a new felony, you could get an additional consecutive prison sentence for the violation, the maximum of which would be the greater of 12 months or the time left under post-release control, and the costs are assessed. Anything else, Ms. Alessi?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Mr. Mulkey?
No, Your Honor, thank you. 3 years and 9 months.